Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 3 of the Aegis Marauders League. Your marquee matchup this week going to be Primal Instinct White versus the Crabs Radiant from the Ionia division. Going to be a fun one as two 2-0 teams face off against each other to remain undefeated in their division. My name is Moose, and I'm joined today with Septi. Septi, how's it going? How was your week, and what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to see which team can take a game off the other one this week. Again, like you said, 2-0, but they're also 4-0 on top of that. So neither team dropping a game. We have some pretty spicy picks that might come out from the side of Primal Instinct White that I absolutely cannot wait to see. I think they've played Ivern mid, Fiddle top, just some absolute bonkers picks from this team. But I mean, I've had a good week coming into this. Solo queue treated me well for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this matchup in the Iron division is going to be super huge. Also, I should get out of the way in the spectate.
Yes, got to get out of the way. Got to make sure that you're in the spectate part so that the teams get themselves all lined up so that our producer PVS, who's making sure that everything's running smoothly behind the scenes, can get us going into this draft. As we had talked about, and as you had stated, both these teams bringing out some wacky compositions and some wacky draft picks in their first 2 weeks. We saw the Fiddlestick stop. We saw some Ivern mid. We even saw some Riven and some Vayne coming out. But that seems to also be more of a comfort pick for Shahaz on the Primal Instinct White roster. With that being said, though, I want to draw our attention to the bottom lane this week as we get into the bans. Shahaz playing the Jinx, playing the Vayne. But over on the Crabs Radiant, Palm Goat playing 3 games of the Kai'Sa, having it available in all 3 of those games. We'll see if it's going to be available here as we get ourselves started with this draft.
My guess is that the Kai'Sa probably will be taken off the table. It's just one of those picks that, yes, she did get a little bit nerfed when the AP nerfs came out. But still, she's fairly strong, can still go for the Radiant Virtue, or not the Radiant Virtue. Why am I forgetting the name of it? The the static shiv into Rageblade build. I mean, I'm not too surprised based on what we've seen so far in drafts. TCR taking away the Ivern from the likes of Primal Instinct, just because they've been able to use it so creatively that it's going to be a problem if you're not prepared for it, which I don't think most people practice against Ivern mid unless, you're playing last year when it was like Ivern mid, Gwen top, Olaf jungle, and it was just absolutely running face. But with that said, I mean, Hecarim ban on the other side, not going to allow, I believe it's Ollie. I think, it is going to be Ollie on an A to have that option. Who's been playing pretty well on the Hecarim, something that's I guess a little bit more niche to these junglers tonight, just because I don't think the champion has been too strong of late. But just the ability to absolutely clear out and just be faster than your opponent is super overpowered. Interesting to note, actually, that the Crabs Radiant is taking away both Tristana and Rel on blue side. Kai'Sa will be available if they decide to pick that up for Palm Goat. But I mean, some interesting bans coming out, definitely targeted at some individuals based off of what they play maybe in solo queue, not based off what they play in the actual league so far. But we're gonna have to see. But my guess would have to be this Kai'Sa here.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they do decide to go for with this first pick. The Crabs Radiant, of course, also looking to go towards more of a tank top laner in Rindo Kobayashi. Rindo is a long-standing player within the Aegis community. We saw him, and I casted his games in the Aegis Protectors League back in summer 2022, now making his entrance into the AML this split. Keep an eye on some of those tanks like the Ornn and the Shen that he played in weeks 1 and 2. As you had predicted, the Kai'Sa is going to be the pickup here for Palm Goat for the Crabs Radiant. 9-2-12 on their last game played against OME Daybreak. 14-3-10 in their debut game against Tenebrous Esports Obsidian. So really strong stat lines coming in for this bottom laner as Primal Instinct decides to go with the Seraphine and the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, this seems to be comfort for them. The Seraphine has a comfortable flex between mid and support. The Xin Zhao is going to be probably one of Chiv's most comfortable picks so far. Just having picked it already 3 times and now a 4th coming into playoffs. 100% win rate in 3 games. Just looking really nice. Graves is going to be the hover right now for Ollie on an A. Another pick that they brought out last week and I think did fairly well on. Interesting to see it paired with Kai'Sa a little bit, just because you'd expect maybe you'd prioritize something. I guess they have two picks here, right? You'd want to pick something like a Nautilus. Thresh, not really what I'd expect with a Kai'Sa. Just Kai'Sa definitely wants to have a dive partner with her, maybe something that could, go in like an Alistar, like a Braum, like a Nautilus, or even a Rakan. But Thresh, I guess, to keep the Kai'Sa just a little bit safe, allow Graves maybe even to go just that much further in. But in this matchup of the jungle, Graves versus Xin, I actually find it a little bit strange because I think it's Xin favored for a lot of the early game. And only once Graves starts getting items and levels does it become slightly more Graves favored. Just like the natural damage coming out from Xin definitely creates an advantage in that 1v1. But speaking of 1v1s, we got a Vayne lock in.
Yeah, going to be the third time that Shahaz is going to be playing the Vayne here in the AML. Just keep an idea of how strong this player and this champion is paired together. 9-0-6 against Indigo, which was a top 4 team in the AML in winter 2023, going 9-0-6 in the one game that they played against it. Was paired with Korean Daddy's Seraphine. However, as you had alluded to, Flow the Zone could also decide to go with the Seraphine in the mid lane if they do decide to hover that over. Rindo Kobayashi is not going to have that Shen that they had available, also signaling maybe they're going to see that Ornn as the second ban to make Rindo play maybe a different champion. We'll see if they decide to go that angle.
I think they might leave the Ornn up, or they might actually ban this Ornn now after the Fiora has been taken away from Master Gamer. Just because, I mean, yes, it's a very safe matchup. I'm not quite sure if they have another answer. Generally, players that play Fiora will often also play things like the Camille, like the Mordekaiser, like the Gwen of the world. Just because, and just have absolute tank training. Anivia, yep, will be the ban. So it looks to me as though they're going to probably decide whether Seraphine is going on 4 here, whether it's going mid or support. Anivia taking away might be just a matchup thing for Seraphine potentially, that they're worried about Trinity playing. But with the Swain and the Sylas available still for the side of TCR, you have to be a little bit worried that if you send the Seraphine mid, something like that Sylas actually could be picked up for Trinity and actually have a very nice set of ultis with the Crescent Guard and the Encore available to them. We're going to see as Primal Instinct is going to be looking to either pick a blind top laner, maybe that Ornn for themselves even, or they will be picking a mid laner, and it looks like it might be that Ziggs right there.
Ziggs would be an interesting pick. It would confirm as well that that's going to probably be Vayne Seraphine in the bottom lane, unless we're going way back in time and we're going to see some Vayne top lane shenanigans afoot. But Ziggs, a lot of siege damage, a lot of opportunity to be able to push the lane forward, and also providing that full map pressure with that Mega Inferno Bomb if you decide to go for a dive, which Xin Zhao can do at very early stages of the game. You could then pair that up with that Mega Inferno Bomb and get that damage in to secure those kills, especially in the bottom lane. The Ahri going to be the response here from the Crabs Radiant, looking to be also very mobile, very elusive to avoid getting taken down, and potentially finding a way to get that damage in extremely quickly. So going to be a very interesting duel that we're going to be seeing here in the mid lane.
So you've spoken the Vayne top into existence. Oh, especially if they lock in Ornn. Just because Ziggs Seraphine actually is such a powerful bot lane that if Vayne top is an option, if they have a better option into Ahri mid, Vayne could be a very potential top laner to go for, because I think Seraphine Ziggs would absolutely oppress the Thresh and Kai'Sa lane to no end. Would create, countless dive opportunities for the Xin Zhao, would have so much sustain, would have so much range. The Vayne as well would feast against the Ornn. And when you have Prio in 2 lanes like that, it doesn't really allow Graves to play the game. So, I mean, we're not going to get anything spot. Or the Seraphine Ziggs bot lane, I believe. Right?
We'll have to see what the draft decides to go for, because they could put a lot of these options into different places.
Yeah, it probably will be Vayne Seraphine, sorry. As much as I would like that bot lane, it probably will not be. Anyway, Malphite going to be the lock into Ornn, maybe a little bit, sleeper. I guess it's kind of what you want to do, right? You want to have your top laner, you want to have Master Gamer on that engage for you. But it feels a little bit bad when you have to counterpick with a Malphite on something that is not Yasuo or Jax. But either way, Malphite will be that good source of engage. And it looks like Primal Instinct actually have a fairly solid setup going. where they should be able to create a whole lot of space for Vayne and Ziggs to play the game how they like. And I mean, I'm curious because it's really going to rely on Graves and Thresh to make a lot of things happen in the early game to actually put pressure on Primal Instinct and their scaling. And if that doesn't happen, Blue Side could be in a whole world of trouble.
Yeah, I am actually looking towards the jungle here for Shiv here on this Xin Zhao. Crescent Guard is probably going to be the most impactful ultimate in this game for Primal Instinct White. The opportunity to be able to disrupt every single member of the Crab Radiance kit in some capacity. If you get a good Crescent Guard and you're able to avoid some of that damage by being able to stop maybe some of those projectiles, it could spell doom for their composition, especially when they try to go all in or try to assassinate some of these players. Graves needs to get ahead early. Ari needs to get ahead. And if you're able to get ahead on those champions, you can very easily assassinate these squishy members of Primal Instinct and not give them the opportunity to win out in these team fights. I just am worried that the Crab Radiant might not have the angle to get ahead so we can see that big burst damage come through.
Yeah, there's no guaranteed lockdown in the early phase of the game or even the later phase, right? You have to rely on a Call of the Forge God. You have to rely on a death sentence landing or a free charm flying in the air to actually guarantee an engage onto someone. And when Vayne, especially, has the freedom to move around a fight unimpeded, she becomes one of the most dangerous champions in the game, to the point where doesn't matter really how fed the Ahri is. Graves and Kai'Sa might be able to pop her if she, goes too close. But if Ahri is fed, if Ornn is fed, I say fed, if they're just scaled, Vayne can just dance around them. Yes, there's if an Ornn is fed, something went wrong, or something went incredibly right. I don't know. But speaking as a Graves player, if I see a Vayne dancing around me and I'm anywhere even in the game, I am more than happy to just just one shot her as she gets close to me with a nice auto. But I actually don't know what build the Graves will go this game, because I think people have been bouncing back and forth between lethality and sort of the I think it's Stridebreaker these days, maybe. I might be also a little bit outdated, so I apologize. My Graves knowledge is not up to snuff currently, but I promise when we get into game, I will have that sorted. Either way, I think Red Side definitely has the ease of execution advantage in this game. You just need things to not go wrong. Then that'll be great.
We'll get to see whether they go right or wrong for either one of these teams. I expect to see some very high skill from both of them. They're both 2-0 teams in the Ionian division. They're looking to maintain that undefeated record and almost not solidify their top seeded spot in their division, but get themselves into a very good position to making that happen as we get into the later stages of this group part of the AML. And we're almost reaching the halfway point of the group stage. So definitely going to be a very exciting match that both these teams are, of course, looking to win. As we get ourselves into the game, though, we've got to pick our Dragon Soul predictions for this first game.
Here we go.
Septi, you were on a roll last week. All three dragons you predicted correctly. 2 of them Hextech, 1 of them Chemtech. We have not seen an Ocean Drake, a Mountain Drake, or a Cloud Drake yet here in the AML.
You know what? For that sake, let me give me the Clown Drake. Give me the Clown Drake.
The Clown Drake?
Yeah, the Clown Drake.
Oh my god.
Give me the Clown Dragon.
Okay, all righty. One more. You get one more.
I can't drop off my Hextech train. I love that dragon too much.
I got you. All right. I gotta go with my boy Infernal. Gonna come back for me. I feel it. Gonna be another Infernal Rift here, and gotta go back to Mountain. I gotta keep Mountain on my roster.
I broke the control. We've been splitting Ocean and Chemtech. I want the funny dragon? Nah, give me Ocean. Give me Ocean.
Ocean. Oh no, this isn't good. I really wanted the Ocean there, but that's okay. I'll take the Chemtech. It'll be a Chemtech Rift for sure. No doubt in my mind that it's going to be a Chemtech or an Infernal Drake. I'm not so sure about the Mountain, but we'll find out in just a couple of seconds. We're going to take a quick break to get ourselves ready to jump into this game one match between Primal Instinct White and the Crabs Radiance. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, to our week 3 matchup between TCR and PIW, Primal Instinct White versus the Crab Radiant. Just wanted to let everyone know again that Aegis Esports is sponsored by our lovely sponsors in Coachify.gg. Coachify is a commission-free esports coaching platform currently in the open beta. Become a coach today and track your students, inspire them to succeed, and turn your passion into a career. Click the panel down below, located below the stream, to check out their website for more information. And with that said, we got a 5-man fan out on either side. No shenanigans happening. Graves dropping a ward in the top pixel and taking a red jungle pet this game on the Graves.
Yeah,
feeling spicy. Ollie's feeling spicy.
Going in, and now we potentially going to get some damage here against Rindo. Going to be able to drop that ward in, will be recognized. So just going to be able to get a little bit of vision from both teams. Interesting to note here, we are not going to be seeing Flow the Zone in the middle lane for Primal Instinct White. Knight Ventura is coming into the mid lane here for this game. Going to be their debut matchup for the AML for the Primal Instinct White squad, unless there's something different from the Duan stats. Thank you again for the Duan stats to keeping everything, I guess, knowledgeable for me, giving me the data that's necessary for this. But with that being said, 2 teleports on the side of Primal Instinct White. 2 teleports going to be coming in for the side of the Crabs Radiant. A lot of potential for some split pushing and mobility. What do you think is going to happen here as we get into the mid lane matchup?
I think Graves is going to get spotted going to this red side here. Primal Instinct White had a very nice ward placed on the middle of the river there and spotted Ollie going towards that blue buff there. Curious to see if there'll be any reaction to the play. We spoke before, the Seraphine gets a lot of push in the early game. So we can maybe look to see Korean Daddy actually look for some push to try and punish this Graves on the invade. But instead it looks like nothing happened so far. I think people actually didn't even ping that the Graves crossed, now that I think about it. So perhaps maybe use the sweeper to dodge the ward. Either way, is just looking to take away the bot camps to the point where they're in a position to potentially look for a dive on the bot side. The HPs are not in a good enough position to do so. Shiv, it looks like, is going to be pinging onto the bot side, but Ollie, again, just looking on the bot side for a potential play. Nothing too crazy going on. If nothing happens here, it actually will not be great for the Graves, as they only took 2 of the camps out of the 3 from that bot side there. And now Ollie, taking a quick base, will grab that longsword and go right back out onto the map. Should be going towards the Raptors maybe, and will path down towards this bot crab. Just because he's trying to island this top lane, right? We have Malphite versus Ornn. Don't really want to play too much for this matchup. And so if Ollie is able to focus on the bot side, it should be really good. But Rindo trying to let Mickey know what the lane is.
Yeah, a lot of damage on to Mickey, as Rindo was trying to be able to get a little bit of that extra pushing power in. Did see him miss a couple of those knock-up headbutts, but overall didn't really deal too much or have too much of a problem there. Nice combo coming in from Trinity against Knight Ventura, going to be able to get that electrocute damage as well. But as you were talking about, no pings on Ollie going up towards the blue buff and the Gromp. Still, the response from Shiv was to go to the top side of the rift, vertical jungling, getting the full clear as well. And at this point is going to be just pretty much on par with Ollie, and still hasn't been able to come back, going to have a much better back when he decides to make that happen.
Yeah, you have to imagine that it was just communicated in comms as opposed to pings on the map when Graves crossed the river, because he definitely went straight over that ward there. But we'll just be clearing out the bot side. We'll be down a little bit of XP, level 3 to level 4 currently. Red side seem to have a fairly decent idea of where Ollie might be in this game so far. But, I mean, not too much happening, as directed camera seems to just be sitting on bot lane for me. Anyway, Graves going to be coming into the bot side here. Alchemist trying to make sure that no shenanigans are going to happen. But with the way this map is split right now, Ollie doesn't really have too much to do in the way of Graves things, right? Generally, when you think of Graves, you think of, you know, you have pushing waves, you tend to try and mess with the enemy jungler. And while they do have a pushing wave in the mid lane, it's been really hard because Shiv split the map, or rather Ollie split the map at the level 1, just to make sure that their bot lane would be safe from whatever shenanigans they would try to do to this Kai'Sa, who is honestly probably one of the win conditions for this team, right? You have Ari, who's more of a setup champion. She's not really going to be able to cut through something like a Vayne, like a Xin Zhao. Graves, again, conditional, but Ollie looking for this play.
See if they do decide to go it. Shahaz, Korean Daddy, still playing inside the minion wave, making sure that they avoid things. The Void Seeker completely misses, but they know now that there's no one in the jungle. Good flash from Korean Daddy. Good stun from Shahaz to be able to avoid any further damage. Flash expended, but no other summoner spells used.
That was a funny little interaction there. It looked as though Ollie got hit by the Seraphine E while they got condemned as well. So while they were flying backwards, Seraphine hit, and so they were stunned as opposed to being rooted. But either way, it looks as though Shiv is going to take advantage of the fact that Graves showed bottom and look for another invade onto the second spawn of those top camps for Ollie. And for the time being, this Graves not really able to get too many things rolling. Only a flash so far, not an XP, not a CS advantage either for the Graves. And the fact that Dragon is still on the map despite having so much bot priority is going to start setting the Crab Radiant behind. Well, it seems that Shiv might have actually gotten a little bit spooked not knowing where Ollie could have been on the map, but is instead going to try and fix the top wave.
See if they are going to be able to do that. We've also got Unstoppable Force ready as well, as the initiation for the first blood potential play is going to come through. Nice flash from Rindo will avoid any further damage and avoid getting knocked up by that Unstoppable Force.
I think Mickey held on to the Unstoppable Force maybe a little bit too long and let Rindo get the full distance of the searing charge away from them before pressing the R, which meant that there was no room to actually...
Okay.
Shahaz.
Oof, that was flash and cleanse expended on the Vayne now, as 4 members of the Crab's Radiant squad looking to go towards Dragon, and it is going to be taken uncontested.
Slightly contested. Slightly contested. Would you take that deal, by the way? A Dragon and Vayne sums for nothing? Would you take
every
that
day.
deal?
Yeah, I take that deal every day.
You take that deal?
Yeah.
Damn good deal. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, so good job from the Crab's Radiant just being able to pick up a free Dragon. We talked about how Graves has to get the game rolling, as they have, decided to split the map in favor of their bot side. Graves not really a champion that can split the map without getting something for themselves. As Charm lands onto Knight, getting a fairly good trade, but Trinity not really able to walk back freely. But with Ollie actually getting that dragon, as I was gonna say, he needs to get something going for themselves, because this Graves will not be able to be much of anything in the game if they're not able to create a gold or XP lead for themselves. And the fact that they spent so much time, effort, and net XP and gold to try and create a safe bot lane for Palm Goat and Alchemist, it just means that Graves is going to be that much less useful come the mid game, come the third dragon, the second herald fights, because Shahaz, despite losing both their summoners, until that is punished, has not lost anything.
And yeah, and at the moment, decided not to go for any sort of Cole build, goes straight towards the Noon Quiver and the Doran's Blade. I want to bring our attention though towards the mid lane. Trinity, I think, really playing very well against a Knight Ventura, holding on to that teleport until about the 750 mark, was able to teleport in, but throughout the majority of this early game has been pressuring Knight Ventura out of the lane. He's had a strong control of his health, better mana control, and keeps an even CS count as well, and so overall has been able to keep a good presence there in the mid lane. Part of the reason why Ollie has been able to get some of these neutral objectives, first the dragon and now the first Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're going to see in the mid lane, at least in the early levels, just because Knight Ventura on the Ziggs is not going to have the damage or the mana to contest the naturally strong Ahri push. And a little bit unfortunate the way the map has played out for the side of Primal Instincts, because Zin had split the map on the top side for the lane, and then decided to go towards that bot side, maybe fearing that they weren't strong enough to actually fight the 2v2 or the 3v3 if Graves were to go top, and not really able to do much except clear out vision and pick up a Raptor camp in exchange for a Herald, which is a little bit unfortunate if Ollie is able to get a good use of it, because you've lost a big objective for almost nothing in trade. And so now, I mean, we talked about Ollie having to try and create a lead for themselves. While they are down, or they all are actually even in gold, they've actually done a good job, just naturally being able to get that Herald. Maybe just the fear of what the champion can do made Shiv not really too confident in fighting the Graves. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go back to what you're saying in this Ahri Ziggs matchup. It should be pushing in favor of the Ahri for maybe about the first 10-15 minutes. Basically, once Knight Ventura starts working towards finishing their first item, is basically when they start getting control of the lane, because, or at least should be able to start contesting the push, because about now it should be the time where Trinity and Knight can counter push each other and just kill the wave on either side immediately. But Shiv is going to look for a potential play on the bot side, and a ward in front of this turret would absolutely be amazing, but it is spotted out, so Shiv is kind of just wasting time here. Not on vision, but also not really able to step any further forward to make this play. But Ollie gonna use that pink ward to try and sneak into the bot side here.
Play might be happening here, and now we've got the final hour used. Encore is still available, and it is going to land as the teleport is going to come in from the top lane. Knight's Flay, the box is going to cut him out, and Alchemist might be first blood, and it does go towards Shahaz. The teleport from the Ornn a little bit too late, and now he's going to be caught out of position. Mickey going to try to be able to get in here. There's the call of the Forge God. Going to try to be able to get the knockup. Wasn't able to land it. Shiv's going to be able to take down Rindo, and it's a 2-0 for Primal Instinct White.
Yeah, and I think Rindo had to TP a little bit sooner there. The second that Mickey starts teleporting TP, it's hold on, we're not quite done yet. As Trinity trying to get something back with a Spirit Rush. Not able to land a Charm, and will be not able to push that any further. Rindo actually TP'd a little bit late there. Could have been able to maybe turn the fight on the backside with that call of the Forge Guard a little bit more. But a very nice read coming out from the side of Primal Instinct to be able to just know that that play was going, track Ollie well enough to know that that Graves was on the bot side. It might look to force a play. And realistically, if you're Graves, if you don't know where people are, and if you don't really have any real way of locking the bot lane down, you can't engage the way you did. You use your smoke screen, you dash in, and then all of a sudden they're around the wall. And your end of the line can't do enough damage. Your what's it called? Your collateral damage as well doesn't do nearly as enough to knock them down. And now you're down ultis, you're down XP, you're down gold. Oh, say you're down gold. You're not really down gold, but you're down in map tempo, considering that Primal Instinct was able to win that fight and get back out onto the map first, to the point where we see red side moving towards this dragon first and are potentially going to try and run it back. They do have the Ziggs poke and the Seraphine poke, though.
No encore though. No, Killer Instinct is available for the Kai'Sa. Spirit Rush is not. Collateral damage is ready. 2000 HP on the Chemtech Drake. Who's going to be able to get it? As the Crescent Guard is going to be used by Shiv. Going to try to be able to get away. We got the Killer Instinct used, and Shiv is going to go down. But Shahaz is going to be able to take down Ollie. The Dragon is still out. Shahaz trying to be able to get those Silver Bolts to be able to come through, but it's a double kill for the bottom lane of the Crab's Radiant. Still, Korean Daddy and Shahaz still alive. Dakota Biashi gonna try to be able to get a knock up, not able to land it in on Shahaz, is trying to be able to get away. Nice death sentence, going to be able to get the damage on Mickey. Mickey is down. Palm Goat getting 3 kills in this fight, and potentially disaster for Primal Instinct as Alchemist still survives. Shahaz will execute, and it's gonna be the pseudo ace against Primal Instinct. The Crab's Radiant evening out the kill count.
Yeah, the Crab's Radiant doing a very nice job playing together. Rindo just following Mickey all the way down there. Neither top laner had ulti to influence that fight, and so Mickey was kind of just a more powerful cannon creep in this fight here. But I think a big problem was that Primal Instinct was not coordinated in that fight whatsoever. We had Shiv trying to play for the dragon. We had the bot and mid trying to play out is what it looked like. And so when they actually got caught, they were all trying to support each other, but not from the same point. And so it seems as though the Crab Radiant was actually able to split the Xin away from their carries, from their damage dealers, and just make the fight that much easier. And so especially when Shahaz, who was not quite able to kite that fight out, it just was super unfortunate for Primal Instinct that they were not able to actually make a play happen when it looked like they had control from the start. And ooh, Knife and Turret, that is a little bit of damage you're taking there.
A lot of damage. I'll say that's a lot of damage. A third of your health bar now down, and the fighting might even continue as Ollie going to be there, as might be in trouble, might be able to dash away, but it is going to be a fight potentially that the Crab Radiant actually want to come through. The death sentence landing once again, and Alchemist can maybe try to sacrifice their life for the cause. Shahad still going to be alive here, going to be able to get the Silver Bolts, and will pick up another kill, and to be their 4th in this game.
Yeah, I mean, an interesting death sentence. The fact that you take the hook there is a little bit strange, I think, from Alchemist. I know they were trying to potentially peel away Shahaz, but it looked as though that Ollie and Palm Goat were out, or sorry, Ollie and Trinity were out of that fight. So now they got a free kill, and it looks like they're going to have a whole bunch of prio for this second Herald spawning. That, by the way, Ollie didn't get to use because it timed out during that dragon fight. So the XP and the gold that you could have gotten from that Herald is just not being used. And Palm Goat has actually pulled up your Korean Daddy, not going to get hit by that charm. But there is a lot of pressure on this Herald now.
Herald going to be at 4,000 HP, and it does look like Primal Instinct is going to back away from it. Call the Forge God is ready to go, as well as Unstoppable Force. And Mickey's going to try to make it happen. The Encore is going to land. Multiple members going to be putting onto it, and Shahad's Unstoppable going to be able to pick up their 5th kill. Shiv, nice big health back there, but not going to be enough to stay alive, as Palm Goat is going to pick up their 5th kill. That is an actual Unstoppable, going to be their 5th kill of the game. Makes it a 1 or 2 for 1 exchange, and a good play for the Crab's Radiant.
Yeah, the Crab's Radiant did a nice job. They kited back to a point where Primal Instinct actually opened themselves up to a flank from Rinda Kobayashi, who is able to use that Call of the Forge God to knock up the damage dealers in Vayne and in Ziggs, and then just completely be a nuisance to them for the entirety of the fight, while Palm Goat and Ollie were dealing with Malphite and the Xin Zhao. And on top of that, the Crab's Radiant get to pick up that second Herald. We'll see if Ollie actually puts it down this time. And a little bit of flame for no reason, but this second Herald actually could do a very nice job. Pushing into a Ziggs is very difficult, so when you're able to pick up a Herald, you should be using it on that mid lane to really open up the map and stop the Ziggs from being able to stonewall your map advances. For the time being, we do have what looks to be an objective sweep for the side of the Crab Radiant, and it seems as though the funny dragon, both funny dragons are actually taken so far, and it will be that Ocean Soul. Or Infernal, I'm trolling. It's an Infernal Soul. I don't know how to look at the map.
It's okay, but we get another Infernal Soul here, second of the AML split, and that is going to even out our Dragon Soul prediction to 3-3. It's almost like it's supposed to be even throughout the entire season, but what do I know? As we get into the mid game, 17 minutes in, and we are at an even, or not an even point, but a 3,000 gold lead for the Crab's Radiant. The big winner of this game so far is going to be Palm Goat on this Kai'Sa. You have to wonder Primal Instinct White had the opportunity to ban that out, instead giving Palm Goat, their most played champion in the AML, the most successful champion that they've been able to play, and we're seeing that on display here. Navori Quick Blades unlocked, Kraken Slayer unlocked, Cole completed, and a 600 gold bounty.
Yeah, this is one where you're thinking to yourself in game, but I knew we should have banned it and we didn't anyway. Yeah, I mean, this is what we talked about, right? We said that they're banning rather from their solo queues, what it looked like, as opposed to what they had played. So Palm Goat doing such a nice job on this Kai'Sa so far. 5-1-0, 2 items completed, is a whole half item ahead of this Vayne. Seraphine just finishing that Rylai's. And just looking around the map, it looks to be as much as it looks to just be pretty much top lane is the only goal, is the only item advantage truly on the map right now. Everything else seems pretty even opposed from top lane, where it's a Sunfire Cape to a Jock Show. But the tanks really don't matter. The only saving grace right now for the side of Primal Instinct is that they are playing a composition that is fairly good at wombo comboing. You have the Malphite, the Seraphine, that can just lock down a fight for the entirety if you're able to bait it into a small enough choke. Herald will go down in the mid, but it looks like they're not even going to prioritize it, as Rindo is going to TP in pretty early to this fight, going to be there just as a deterrent, it would seem, for this Dragon take. But this will be Soul Point potentially.
And a fight now potentially coming through. The Encore is going to land on the 2 members. That's going to be the final hour coming in. Alchemist is going to get absolutely annihilated. Palm Goat is going to be able to take down Korean, though, as Shahaz is also going to be able to take down one. Now it's a 4v3 situation in favor of Primal Instinct. Shahaz goes down. Palm Goat gets the shutdown onto the Kai'Sa, and that's going to be Shiv taking the shutdown then on to Palm Goat. It's going to be a 3v2. Shiv once again with a big Gore Drinker proc to stay alive, and the ace for Primal Instinct White. They finally get the fight that they needed.
Yeah, there's just so much damage going down onto the Crab Radiant. It's like we're not able to actually set up the fight that they wanted to. They got pinched from both sides. Rindo was not able to get a high quality Ornn ulti off. And Alchemist, who is meant to be there to create a whole bunch of safety, as well as just chaos with that Glacial Augment and Flay, just was not able to do so. Was instantly killed by the Mega Inferno Bomb. Just not able to do anything in the fight, starting at 4v5, starting it down an Ornn ult, to the point where then Mickey was able to chase him down and find a very nice usage of the Unstoppable Force to interrupt them. And then Ali tried their very best with the Graves, who I have seen in that situation actually carry those fights, but was not quite able to do so in that moment. Just too much healing coming out from Shiv with that Gore Drinker, with that Xin Zhao passive. And now, first Infernal Dragon is going to be picked up for the side of Primal Instinct. And I kind of like this play, actually. I really actually like this play coming out from the Crabs Radiant, because they know Primal Instinct just finished the play on the map, and so they will be trying to reset. And look at it. Xin Zhao, Ziggs, and the Malphite are all off the map. Mega Inferno Bomb gonna come in. Oh, as the smite comes in. Oh, at 400 HP. A little scary. Very nicely done from the Crabs Radiant.
Yeah, big tempo play coming in. They're going to get it. Almost able to come through, but unable to finish the job. Nice Root going to land in on to Trinity. And Shahaz is going to pop the final out here. Palm Goat is going to be taking a lot of damage, but Shahaz is the one that goes down. Palm Goat able to dish out the damage with the Navori Quick Blades, and that's going to be an 8-1-1 Kai'Sa taking down Shahaz. And the Baron power play just gets that much better for the Crabs Radiant.
I was so scared that one of them was just going to int away the Baron buff immediately. That Kai'Sa ulti was just so strong with that shield. And Shahaz just not able to do enough damage in that moment there. I think it was an isolated Q as well that went down onto the Vayne, which just meant that Palm Goat was able to get that much more damage in the 1v1. And now, with Baron buff, they should actually be able to fully knock down this turret. Call of Forge God is available if they really want to push them off. But it should just be a fairly standard event where they walk in. Graves going to take a base, which means that the tempo is slightly stalled for the side of the Crab Radiant. A little bit interesting, I guess, finishing the Collector up, as well as the Zhonya's Hourglass from Trinity. But for now, I guess the Baron buff has stalled just a little bit. We have the second Infernal Dragon coming in about 3 minutes time, so Baron should be out by then. And I'm curious to see if the Crab Radiant are going to be able to build this gold lead anywhere past 3k.
Yeah, the big advantage here for Primal Instinct White is the power of Knight Ventura on the Ziggs, using that Mega Inferno Bomb defensively to avoid any further siege damage onto that bottom tier 1 tower. And overall, Primal Instinct White, you know, given the opportunity to be able to stabilize their lanes with those backs from the Crab's Radiant, is now going to allow them the opportunity to, you know, keep their inner towers intact, at least for the time being. That outer tower in the bottom lane most assuredly going to fall with 45 seconds remaining. Feels like a little bit of an undervalued Baron for the Crab's Radiant.
Yeah, I think they're pretty neutral in terms of what the gold is looking like. I think maybe there was a little bit of a dip at that dragon fight, but then they brought it right back with the Baron play. With 3 members on the spot side, Knight Ventura not really going to be able to do too much against this Baron buff. Ziggs used to be the Baron killer, and now it's just like any other mage when it comes to clearing waves against Baron. Kind of not having a fun time. But with that said, we will have some synchronized backs coming in from the side of the Crab's Radiant. They're going to pick up their items. Some longswords coming out, a Phantom Dancer for the Kaisa as well as a Locket, which is a little bit interesting coming out from the Alchemist. I would have thought that maybe with the way that the game is going, they would have won for something maybe like a Shirelia's, just to have that much more movement to either close or stall or pull away from an engage. But I guess if you're just accepting the fact that you can't dodge the engage, I think a Locket is a very nice option here. But for the time being, we will have to see if it was the right choice or not and how much value they get out of it. But speaking of items, we're getting close to the point where Rindo Kobayashi is level 14.
Level 14 now.
Yeah, level 14 now. Should be able to start, or I believe has that Ornn upgrade available. Should be starting to look for it. I believe they should go into Kaisa first, if I'm not mistaken. Just that hook on a low eye.
Oh boy,
Felt the breeze on that
scary. One. Yeah, I felt it. I felt it all the way from here. I need that breeze. It's like 95 and humid in Vegas. We got some rain today. I'll take it. I'll take whatever comes our way. But for now, though, as you had talked about, Rindo Kobayashi going to give that upgraded Navoric Blades over to Palmgoat 8-1 and 1. You know, very much in command of this game for the Crab's Radiant. Shahaz, a 2-level disadvantage, Septi, as we go into this next dragon. This is not a dragon that Primal Instinct has to fight. They are not in danger of giving over Infernal Soul, but it does look like they are going to go into the river to try to be able to get some vision, to try to be able to potentially contest this dragon. They're going to go into the mid lane as a unit and maybe deciding instead to not go into the river and go towards that mid tier 1 tower. They nope, they're going to go back to the mid tier 1 tower. We're going to try to clear that out as a response. They will be able to finish it thanks to the Demolish proc, but now are they going to be able to get out? Rindo Kobayashi going to call the Forge God as the rest of Primal Instinct White just seem like they don't know what they want to do here. Mickey is going to be taken inside the box, going to be taken to very low HP. Alchemist is going to be able to take that one coming through. As Knight Ventura is going to be able to take down Alchemist. They get a 1-for-1. Trinity is going to take down Shahaz. That's 3 members of Primal Instinct White down. Knight Ventura is next and almost a full ace. It's going to be the ace potentially for the Crab's Radiant as they went for a play that just didn't seem to work. Trinity gonna probably finish the job here. Now, who gets the final kill? It's gonna be Ollie, and that's a big fight win here for the Crab's Radiant.
Yeah, you said it, Moose. It was just too much hesitation coming up from Primal Instinct. They weren't sure whether they wanted to fight the dragon or if they wanted to push that mid wave. They realized in the end that they didn't really have the damage to fight them, and we saw what it would have looked like if they were trying to fight the fight. I think that in that situation, if you're Mickey, you kind of just have to turn around, ult the orange. You can't keep chasing and just take the 1-for-0 and the dragon against you. But instead, it was an ace for the side of the Crab's Radiant. Just looking really good. Graves going to be picking up that second ornament. But I mean, we saw the same fight. We saw the same thing happen at the second dragon, I believe, where it looked like Primal Instinct White sort of split up in the fight. You had the Malphite and you had Mickey and Shiv looking for the frontliners of the Crab Radiant, but on the side, Crab's Radiant just had Ollie and Palmgo just doing so much damage to the carries that it wasn't really able to, they weren't really able to have any control of the fight. And yes, you were able to take out Alchemist, but the rest of your team just got absolutely wiped by the carries, as Ollie is going to lose that red buff to the Smite of Shiv. Little unfortunate there. But either way, I don't think you can be too mad. This Baron is going to be up. and actually flippable if Shiv is looking for it.
No, they decide not to, and that's gonna be the Crabs Radiant with another Baron, and that's gonna be another big play on the Mickey potentially. Encore is gonna land only on the 2 members. Shiv's gonna be extremely low and goes down to Trinity. Nice knock up there from Nikki to get it onto the carries. Palm Goat extremely low, but Palm Goat survives, and this is gonna be the ace that's gonna break the camel's back. Crabs Radiant are gonna take game 1.
Yeah, this should be the end of the game here. 26 seconds on Shiv. Even in that fight, I mean, you kind of have to feel a little bit. Knight Ventura was trying their very hardest, was uncontested, hitting the front line of the Crabs Radiant, just not doing any damage, or rather any meaningful damage to the frontliners there. But this is honestly at this point just sort of a wallet dip. We're sitting at 12k. We actually have about 6k in inventory, but that will be the first game. Fairly convincing. Ollie with a nice split map in the early game. Was able to end up finding a lead, was not stuck in the lull of just getting, you know, constantly run around by Shiv, and not looking too bad. Trinity actually top damaging the side of the Crabs Radiant there, just doing a whole bunch of damage in that lane towards Knife Return, constantly pushing the Ziggs out of lane and creating a whole mess for them to deal with. But Crabs Radiant, they remain undefeated. They remain lossless. No games, no matches. They're looking good. They're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, just overall, they just had a good control of the entirety of the map from start to finish. You know, it just kind of felt like Primal Instinct never had the opportunity to, you know, light the ignition, to start the engines up in the early game. I was expecting Shiv to give us some of those early ganks that Xin Zhao was known for, the opportunity to go for those three-pronged strikes into, you know, first blood, second blood, and we saw some of those opportunities come in the very early stages of the game. We saw them get multiple kills to start things off, but we just never got to see them really push out the pressure and not give Ollie, Trinity, and Palm Goat the opportunity to come online. And it ultimately costs them. You know, good play on Crabs Radiant for being able to get that first Baron very early on after losing that dragon fight, getting it, of not allowing for Primal Instinct to get it, even though it wasn't the most effective Baron. They denied that value from their opponent, which in turn I think created big value for them in the rest of that game. They completed in 28 minutes, which is about the average for the AML here this split, and they are now just 1 game away from remaining undefeated in the Ionia division, to being the top dog in Ionia. So we'll have to see what they're going to be able to do here in game 2 and what adjustments Primal Instinct are going to come in here for this second draft. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we will get into that draft. We'll see you guys shortly.
I lied awake for days, counting all the ways I died. Everything I couldn't save, buried down, still half alive. It's got me crawling in my skin, but no one's coming out to hold me close. Pouring out the gasoline, yeah, I've been making friends with all these girls, and I got nothing left to lose. Fight to the future.
Y'all sit back and watch me speak. About to take over your screen. Talking Bulls in 93. Talking mom, I'm on TV. Y'all know all I do is me. All I do is me. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and all I know, my money green. About to snap and make a scene. My cup off and make this free. My cup off and make them scream. Go back off for TMZ. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Money long, nothing on credit. I got style, don't catch no feelings. All this bread ain't got no lettuce. I got style, don't catch no feelings. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Aegis Marauders League Game 2 between Primal Instinct White and the Crabs Radiant. Crabs Radiant, you know, on full display here in Game 1. And I have to say, Septi, probably one of the most creative and adorable logos in the AML. If you guys haven't had a chance to look at the Crabs Radiant logo, I mean, it is adorable. Little crab with a little shield and sword, rocking the Aegis theme here. Really cute, really adorable. Well done as we get into this draft. Septi, I want to ask you now, as we move into draft 2, I really feel like Kaisa is going to be the ban. I'm really hoping that we get to 100%. See it.
100%. Absolutely. It's the fact that Kaisa was even allowed through in that first game, I think, is a massive mistake. Maybe Primal Instincts are hoping that it will it will get let through for them as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I think that if there's any world where Kaisa gets through, it's not this one. I know I said that last time, but we saw why. But I mean, it looks like TCR actually had to ban a whole lot of power picks on blue side even. So the fact that they were still able to get Kaisa was kind of miraculous.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely interesting to see the definitely interesting to see some of the changes in draft that we have seen just in the last couple of weeks. You know, for example, against Primal Instinct White, the teams that were up against them decided to ban out Kindred in both of the matches that they played in all 4 games. Kindred was taken away. We saw in last game Primal Instinct White making sure that the Gragas wasn't available, maybe prioritizing a little bit more of those different comfort picks that could be available for the Crabs Radiant, like Ollie playing that Hecarim. But we got to see the power of a Graves from Ollie in game 1. I don't know if it was necessarily the carry. Like he was more of a supportive role, especially because Palm Goat was, you know, just on fire the entirety of the game. But he was able to show us, you know, his opportunity to be able to move around the map really effectively, make sure that they're able to find those power plays and make those things happen. So I'm curious to see how Primal Instinct decides to navigate this game 2 draft, who they decide to ban out here in this game. They're going to start off with the Hecarim. Crabs Radiant going to take out that Tristana, almost banned or played in every single game that we've seen on stream.
Yeah, I mean, Tristana has just been such a power pick. Being able to flex between mid and AD. It also opens up a whole lot of options in the jungle if you go Tristana. You know, picks like Maokai, picks like Sedge that are just so good at setting up for that champion. Tristana as well, just very strong in her own right, regardless of the flexible value. But Hecarim Syndra taken away again from Primal Instinct. It seems as though they don't really care too much about what they let through in terms of trade picks from their first. I'm curious to see if TCR will ban the Kaisa themselves. It seems as though they dropped the Ivern ban potentially, with I guess what could be a fairly good option for themselves in that Graves if they decide to leave it for Primal Instinct to pick up. But I'm curious. I am curious. The rel banned away, something that is, I guess, fairly comfort for the side of Primal Instinct. It's very good engage. It's another flex pick that they might be worried about. And we will see how Primal Instinct rounds off the draft. They banned the Gragas last time. If I had to think of anything, they might ban the Graves this time. Nope, it will be the Gragas again, sticking to their guns.
Yep, same 3 bans once again. I mean, you know, I do respect the Trinity Syndra ban. It's one of his most played, one of his most powerful, and it's something that has been banned away very, very much against them. We saw them banned out twice or once in week 2 against Omi Daybreak, and then Trinity playing that in their first 2 games against Tenebris Esports Obsidian. 10-4-14 in that first game, and then 4-3-7 in that second. As the last ban comes through, the Kai'Sa is going to be taken away. So the Crabs Radiant saying, hey, we're not going to be allowing this power pick, this, you know, S+ tier champion that's been so prevalent in every single one of these drafts for Shahaz. Now, the other champion that Palm Goat has played in the AML in week 1 was the Ashe, but there are plenty of other options that are still available, including the Xayah that has been banned away against Palm Goat in the past, especially in week 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we didn't see any semblance of that Xayah in game number 1. The champion has just been so strong in the recent patch. Sigs will be the pickup for Primal Instinct. Honestly, wasn't too impressed by it in the last game. Knife Ventura, you know, I could see where the option might be. Perhaps it's a flex for them with Shahaz. But Ahri will be the answer, which actually might be the bait that Primal Instinct are looking for. They do, you know, have a whole bunch of flexible picks. I was kind of hoping maybe to see an Ivern or maybe even a Seraphine there on 1, just to keep her options open as you advance through the draft. But Ahri picked up for Trinity again, did a fairly nice job on that. Had a whole bunch of priority in the lane. Varus, a notorious Xayah counter, so potentially trying to dissuade as well as create some engage for themselves in the game. Curious to see how this goes, right? Varus already definitely has a whole lot of lockdown, definitely a little bit more guaranteed lock with the chain of corruptions. So curious to see if Palm Goat, or how Palm Goat does on this pick. And Thresh, gonna be the hover for now, is a fairly decent answer to the Varus. We'll be able to offer that lantern to a Drinks. What patch are we on, Moose?
It's definitely feeling more like season 12, season 11, season 10, something along those lines, but still something that can be effective. And we did see Shahaz and Korean Daddy play that in both week 1 and week 2 against Indigo. 12-3-8 for Shahaz, and against Omi Daybreak 6-0-4. So a pretty solid performance for Shahaz on the Jinx, paired up with a Korean Daddy on this Thresh. It is a comfort pick for them if they do decide to lock it in. They do decide to lock it in here. Now, the Varus is going to, I would assume, is going to get either paired with something that is going to be mobile, something like a Rakan that, you know, allows for the Varus to just kind of play down there in the bottom lane, or we're going to potentially see that Nautilus to go up against that. We'll see what they do decide to go for. The Graves is going to be locked in for the jungle. Ollie gonna have that very strong, comfortable jungle pickup here once again, as TCR now looking to ban out the jungle from Chiv. The Kindred, which has been banned away almost every single game against Primal Instinct Wide, is once again gonna get taken away here.
I kind of want to see TCR pick up a Braum here on 4. I think Braum would go absolutely crazy in this game. Orin ban, you know, will be nice for Primal Instincts. Rindo did a very nice job on it in the last game. I expect maybe they'll ban the Shen as well.
Yeah, I think so.
But TCR might ban away the Ivern for comfort's sake, as well as the fact that it could do a very nice job as a steroid bot for Shahaz, but also could ban away the Gwen. Yeah, I gotta say it faster, man. Gotta say it faster. No, Gwen is going to be one of those options that will guarantee that Mickey has a favorable lane. One of those kind of not really counterable top laners. It also signals to me that TCR might be looking for something, maybe like a Mordekaiser potentially, some sort of strong AP top laner that can pair Knight, or some kind of strong top laner that is maybe a little bit beefier, that they don't really want to have to deal with Gwen. Nautilus, as you said, might be the pickup here for Varus. I still think that Braum would be good. Pairs very nicely with the Graves. Allows for the chase down with that Winter's Bite. But Nautilus, you know, slightly more guaranteed engage, you know, as opposed to a skill shot. You know, you have a school bus or a point and click knockup. Definitely slightly more consistent. The only difference being that you don't have a full stun. It's just knockups and roots. But anyway, Nautilus locked in for Alchemist will be a nice pairing in the bot side. Varus not has a whole lot of lockdown. Fiora gonna be the lock-in blind for Mickey, a champion that was banned away from them in the previous game. Gonna show up because not that the Malphite was lacking, but played Malphite last game. Now you get to play Fiora and show us what you got.
Yeah, but it also makes the whole composition potentially a little bit squishy. The Maokai is going to be potentially the jungle pickup here. The Kayn, that's going to be very different. Very excited to see that come through here. I don't know if this is a Shadow Assassin angle, but you do have the opportunity to go for it. Forest Graves and Ahri aren't necessarily known for their large health bars, and a Shadow Assassin Kayn could potentially take over a game. But if you do decide to go that route, you are lacking a lot of frontline, something that Ziggs and Jinx are going to be needing to be able to make sure that they get the peel necessary. Rendo Kobayashi going to go for the cannon in response to the Fiora here. That slicing maelstrom is going to add to the already overwhelming lockdown that the Crabs Radiant has. 4 of these 5 members with a way to lock down one or multiple members of the Primal Instinct squad.
Crucially, the Crabs Radiant does not have anyone to match the Fiora if that top lane starts slipping away from them. You have Ahri potentially who can deal with her, but will not really be able to maintain the distance when the Ahri is just using her Q over and over again to both clear and poke. So if the lane gets out of hand, if Mickey is able to start creating an advantage on this Fiora, could pose a very large problem for the Crabs Radiant. That Kayn, by the way, I think will probably be a red Kayn with Eclipse.
Probably.
If I had to take a wild guess, considering that is the flavor of the month, broken Kayn build. Build is so stupid. It makes me so angry seeing people play it because it has all the tankiness and healing of the regular red Kayn build with all of the damage minus maybe a little bit of the assassin Kayn build. But anyway, I could also be wrong. Chiv could be more of the Kayn player than me. Might have a different idea. But anyway, looking at the way these comps kind of work out, I kind of would have maybe expected some more engage to come out from Primal Instinct. They're kind of relying a whole lot on Knight Ventura just clearing waves and allowing Mickey to split push to really do anything. Because that's really what I get when I look at this blue side. I don't really do much.
Let's look at just Chiv in general. Pardon me for the.
Did I also say? I think I also said Shiv. Oh man. They said it didn't matter, but they said Chiv. But now Shiv is stuck.
It is. They said that it didn't matter, but we're gonna try to respect the name here. Going back to that, the Kayn that we have seen them play, at least on their solo queue games in season 13, they are with a pretty solid KDA, 83% win rate. I guess out of 8 games, that's going to be even more like a 90% win rate on the champion, 6.75 KDA in their solo queue game. So they definitely feel like they are pretty comfortable with the champion and pretty comfortable playing that assassin style build, seeing a lot of Kha'Zix, seeing a lot of Echo, seeing some Kindred and Graves. So, maybe some opportunity to be able to deal some damage there, but we won't know for sure what the build is going to be, of course, until we get into it. We can just assume based on, trends and all of that fun stuff. But I want to talk about really quickly the teleport potential advantage, or the idea of teleport here between these two teams. Crabs Radiant most likely going to be seeing a teleport here out of the cannon and the Ahri. Probably going to be seeing Knight Ventura go with the teleport again on the Ziggs. Going back to that top lane that you were talking about, the power of the split pushing Fiora and the opportunity to potentially get ahead. Is teleport going to be something that we're going to be looking for there, or is there maybe a flash ignite angle
on the Fiora? Probably not.
Okay.
I think Mickey is. When I look at this blue side composition, it sort of seems like a solo queue comp. It seems as though Primal Instinct is just going to try and be the better players in this game. Is sort of how they're going to win. And if they're not able to, then they're going to fall into the hands of the Crabs Radiant, who just have, overwhelming team play potential. If they're able to start stacking dragons early, it's quite literally over for the blue team. Just because you'll be able to get that soul online, and you'll be able to just have so much map pressure with the potential of Elder, with the potential of Baron, where they have to start answering you, right? You can't just send Mickey without Baron, because realistically, it's gonna be Trinity that's gonna be able to match Mickey, or at least clear the waves, if that Fiora doesn't have Baron. But speaking of objectives, speaking of dragons, I think we got a game to play.
We definitely do. As we get into this next game, Dragon Soul and Rift's predictions are now live once again. It was an Infernal Soul for the second time here in the AML for game 1. You get first to pick Septi here for game 2.
You know, I think Primal Instinct needs a Hextech Dragon to win this game. And since I want a spicy series, I'm going to predict the Hextech Dragon.
Gotcha. There you go. So Septi kicking with the Hextech for the 8th time every single game.
It's my favorite dragon. It's my favorite dragon.
I love it. You got to go for it. You got to go with what you like. Dragon number 2 for you.
Let's go Cloud again. Let's just do it in a different order.
All right. Now I'm worried that you're gonna snipe away my Mountain Soul, so I'm gonna take the Mountain Soul away.
How did you know?
and I'm gonna mix it up here, Septi. I'm gonna go with the Ocean Soul here.
All right. Do I break your Infernal streak?
Yeah, do you?
Do I do it? Sounds like recency bias though. Give me Chemtech. Give me Chemtech.
Oh, okay. All right. All righty.
There's no way it's the same soul 2 games in a row.
It could never could possibly be that it's the same soul 2 games in a row, but we'll definitely find out here in just a bit. Just want to take this time really quick to talk about some of the upcoming events or upcoming streams that are coming up here for the Aegis Esports squad. Of course, you've got the AML every Tuesday, but Septi, I hear you play in a league as well, the APL.
Yeah, I play in that league. Yep, I play an APL on Thursdays. It's a very fun league. You got a whole bunch of exciting thrillers every week. Apart from, never mind. It hurts too much to say.
Well,
my team is 0-4. It's fine.
Oh no, you're 4-0. We'll just say that you're 4-0 on this stream. It's perfectly fine. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back with game 2 of the AML. See you guys shortly.
Welcome back, everyone, to, again, the Week 3 matchup of the Aegis Marauders League between the Crabs, Radiant, and Primal Instinct White. We have swapped sides for this game, but we have, once again, not swapped our sponsors for this split. Coachify.gg, we are so excited to have you here. Coachify, again, is a commission-free esports coaching platform currently in the open beta. Become a coach today, track your students, inspire them to succeed, and turn your passion into a career. Click the panel located below the stream to check out their information, and become a coach, man. Coachify, real good, real good. But again, moving back to the game, got another fan out. Although it looks like Shahaz is maybe a little bit worried that with Graves showing mid, the Nautilus might get a little bit spicy in the bot side. But in the end, not too much to happen. Again, Ollie going for the Chad red smite this game, and Kennen the Chad red smite.
The Chad red smite. Okay, alrighty.
What?
Nah.
It just means he's gonna. It just means that they're gonna fight a lot. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Even Chiv on the blue cane setup went for blue smite.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of
when they're not even gonna be running through bushes. It's just gonna be walls.
We're kind of talking about that though. We're kind of like a little bit interested to see that we are going to be seeing a blue cane here. It's going to mean that Primal Instinct is very lacking on the frontline department, and potentially the opportunity for Trinity and Rindo Kobayashi to easily get into the backline and take down Knife Ventura and Shahaz before they're able to get in, even with the cleanse that Shahaz decides to go for here. I'm curious to know, now that we know that it is going to be a blue cane, is it just basically, hey, you're telling Chiv, you need to get ahead early if we want to win this one?
More or less, but Ollie is going to continue doing Graves things. This is why you pick the champion. Chiv is going to have to flash here, or it's just going to burn down to red buff.
Oh, was 1 HP as Alchemist is going to get the dredge line in on Shahaz. Heal is going to be used from Palmgo to be able to keep Alchemist above 200 HP, but Chiv going to be forced to back, not even able to get the blue buff as Knife Ventura is now on the way, going to even get himself into trouble as well. Could not stop Ollie from taking this blue buff, and a great start for the Crabs Radiant jungler.
Yeah, this is what Ollie tried to do last game. There was no ward. There was not a good enough ward, rather, to spot the invade this time. Notice how if we look at the top, the ward is in the pixel bush and not actually covering the Baron Pit wall hop that Ollie went for last game. So in the end, Chiv was caught off guard, was caught doing their gromp, and I think they were able to actually collect it for their second camp, but was not able to secure their blue buff. Luckily, was able to keep their flash, however, so the Kayn not too far in the mud. But is going to be down that crucial second buff against Ollie, who is already trying to move towards that bot side. Might be a little bit worried potentially about the Kayn going for a counter invade. But I saw something interesting in the early trading that I think we're about to see here, and it's that Knife Ventura has bone plating in this matchup, which seems really defensive to me, but I guess it keeps them a little bit safer in this lane, allows for potentially a few more mistakes before they're forced out by Trinity, who I guess is just that oppressive that in the last game they were able to create so much pressure that it forced Knife Ventura to actually go bone plating.
Yeah, go defensive here, and the return on that though is that Trinity is now able to get a much more powerful push. 25 CS to 12. Knife Ventura not able to get that CS. When you respect your opponent defensively, you maybe lose out on the opportunity to be able to get those early CS, and that's going to allow for Trinity to continue to have the gold advantage as we move into the next stage of this early game. We're going to potentially see a gank though, as Chiv is going to be in the area, going to maybe go into the brush, going to maybe be in trouble, going to be giving that first Dark Harvest tag over to Chiv. Trinity going to flash, going to try to stay alive, but first blood is going to go towards Chiv on this Kayn. Ollie though, with full mana and full HP, is looking to be able to get some damage onto Knife Ventura here, looking to try to be able to pick up the kill. Is he going to be able to get it done? Is he going to be able to finish the job? He will, to make it a 1-for-1 in the mid lane.
And Ollie still has flash. Ollie can keep going maybe if Chiv gets a little bit too excited about that wave. But 2 flashes for 1 and a 1-for-1 with the pushing wave back towards Trinity is actually totally fine. They're already able to use their TP, get the bounce. Not doing too shabby for Ahri right now. Shahaz, and not a great state as Chiv is trying so hard to collect their own jungle farm. Will just be denied their gromp yet again by Ollie, who is having quite a fun time this game. We talked about the Graves having to have an impact in last game. I can certainly say that Ollie has done a lot more this game to make it favorable for themselves, as Mickey actually might find a free kill here.
And might be able to get the free kill, just might be able to avoid a little bit of that damage. Ollie, nice flash. Gonna try to get out, but it can't. Mickey will take the blue buff as the dredge line is gonna land on a Korean Daddy. Alchemist once again landing it, gonna force the flash out of the thresh. The ignite is gonna take him down to 1 HP, but he will survive.
A little surprising that Pomgo didn't try and go for a couple autos there to stack up the blight. Just opted to instantly charge up that crystal arrow, the crystalline arrow. Is that what it's called? I believe so. Piercing arrow. Sorry.
Piercing arrow, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, Mickey was gifted a free kill because Ollie backed an award, as well as getting the Graves flash. So I don't think you could have asked for anything more so far in the early game if you are Primal Instinct White, right? We talked about them, you know, playing a more solo queue composition. So if they're able to start picking up random kills here and there, make the game more chaotic, it's just going to make it that much harder for the Crabs Radiant to actually play the game in a controlled manner and set up for their 5v5s.
See if they are able to do that, though, as they are going to go for another early dragon. 6 minutes in, pretty early on that stacking potentially. If they are able to get it, and it does look like they will. No response from Knight Ventura. Little bit of pressure coming in from Shahaz and Korean Daddy, but they will not be able to stop it. That's going to be first Drake going over towards the side of the Crabs Radiant, as the Infernal is going to be the second. So you were right. You were right not to go for it.
Was right. There's no way it was going to be Infernal twice, you know? It's not like what LCK saw 30 Cloud Souls in one season or something like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah.
But,
don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all completely random. There is no agenda on the algorithm. Definitely not.
I don't know. I think Ivor weighted it towards, I don't know, maybe Chemtech is what Ivor weighted it towards. But
we'll see.
We'll never know. We'll never know. But anyway, it looks as though Ollie is going to keep farming up on that top side. Is somehow down 10 CS to Chiv, who not quite sure exactly how they're able to pull out the CS lead after being put under so much pressure in this game. I think maybe it has to do with that mid CS that they were able to pick up earlier. That's I think the only thing I can think of for the time being. Spending a whole lot of time on the spot side. Maybe he's aware that Ollie could be trying to play off of those top camp timers, but instead it's just gonna chill for the time being. Just gonna potentially start looking hook lands.
Alchemist is going to be able to get the dredge line in onto Shahaz. Shahaz is going to be the targeter, trying to make it a 1-for-1. Can Alchemist finish the job? They cannot. Mega Inferno Bomb for extra added effect. Shahaz is going to be able to pick up their first kill of the game.
Yeah, and we see pings immediately going down onto the Herald for the side of the Crabs Radiant. But Chiv was bailed out there by Alchemist stepping too far forward, and Korean Daddy landing a very nice death sentence there, because if the king had spent any more time, it would not at all have been worth it to actually even be in that bot lane. So a little bit unfortunate that the Crabs Radiant make that mistake, but very nice for the Blue Cane, who is going to be building towards what I believe is going to be a Duskblade with that Shiv picked up. You have a Shiv on Chiv, or sorry, a Dirk on Shiv.
Yes.
Oh, my brain.
And no static Shiv in this game either. Looks like we're getting lethality coming in from Palm Goat. Gonna get the Kraken Slayer from Shahaz. So you know, interesting to see the static Shiv priority kind of decrease a little bit here in this patch.
Yeah, I mean, I think did we see any last game? I'm surprised no one's playing LeBlanc at all. Surprised no one's even trying LeBlanc, given how powerful she is currently with, you know, Night Harvester and Shiv, even on this patch. For the time being, top lane is fairly boring. Rindo just trying to stack. Well, I say boring, and we say no static Shivs, but we need to take a quick peek at Kennan's items, because that looks to me like a static Shiv.
Yeah, you know, I stand corrected. As we are going to get into it, though. Rindo Kobayashi going to be maybe in trouble. Going to get the stun onto Mickey. Not able to land the riposte, though, so it's going to be an even trade between the two laners, but the health advantage can go over to Mickey because they do have that Vampiric Scepter and the opportunity to pop that Grand Challenge if they do decide to go for a play. And an opportunity potentially, though. Rindo Kobayashi's got to be careful, as Shiv is on the way with double buffs as well. Could potentially look to go for their second kill of the game. Rindo might have to spot ultimate here, trying to be able to get out of this one. Shiv's going to be at 1 HP, as he's going to drop the Umbral Trespass. Not able to finish the job, but it will be enough to take the kill. Rindo Kobayashi actually going to make it a solo bolo. Does he survive this, though? Oh Oh, barely 1 HP.
Oh my god, Chiv twice today. Just escaping by the smallest of hairs. And that Ventura as well, 0 for 2 on the cross map, Mega Inferno Bombs. But I think Rindo probably had to pop that ulti maybe a little bit earlier. It looked as though Chiv was, really trying to commit to that play. And even if you're forced to use your ulti, it's just one deterrent. But I actually remember this interesting fact in this top matchup is that I believe Fiora can never actually repost the stun. She will just repost the stack being added to herself.
I see.
Which is a little weird to say that now, but just in terms of 1v1s later, if you see that, Chiv actually already in blue form.
Okay, yeah, Shadow Assassin coming through, and Ollie's gonna commit to the play as the Spirit Rush is gonna come through. Chiv's gonna be in trouble. The Spirit Rush is gonna land, and the shutdown is gonna be landing onto that. The Grand Challenge is gonna be onto Rindo Kobayashi. To be able to get the second proc, not able to get the third or fourth. So that means that Rindo Kobayashi survives, but it is a teleport advantage for Mickey and Knight Ventura if they do decide to go potentially for this dragon spawning in 23 seconds.
Yeah, this game is definitely looking really solo queuey, especially looking at the way that top trade just played out. We had Mickey just going straight up for the raw Grand Challenge against Rindo Kobayashi, who, had no ulti, no flash, but did just enough damage to push the Kennen out of lane. And now Rindo will be coming back with some more components towards that static Shiv, and Shahaz is in a very interesting spot there.
Okay.
Does have the Lantern available. But interesting to note, we will be seeing a different Graves build actually coming out of Ollie this game. Opting to go a little bit more tanky with this Cleaver pickup. Probably will also be the Triforce.
Pomgo gonna be hit by the flame, gonna be able to flash away from the death sentence. Nice root on it too. Chiv there, who's gonna be down to half HP, does have the Umbra Trash Pass available. That Mega Inferno Bomb lands, and Pomgo is gonna be down to a quarter HP. Nice utilization of the heal though, be able to get both bottom laners to about half HP moving into this next fight. Teleport advantage is still available for Mickey if they do decide to go for a play here on to this dragon. Keep that in mind as Trinity is now in the top side of the rift, and the teleports are now going to be coming in for another 5v5 at this second dragon. Who's going to get it, and who's going to be able to get the advantage coming into this one? Rindo Kobayashi does have the slicing maelstrom, but decided not to go for it. John's going to be hit by a big depth charge, big damage coming in from Alchemist from that dredge line, and now the CC is coming through. All that CC that we saw in drafts is coming into fruition. Trinity will take down Korean Daddy. Very nice initiation from Alchemist with that dredge line onto Shahaz. The bottom lane goes down. Mickey wastes their teleport, and the second dragon goes to the Crabs Radiant.
You have to credit Crabs Radiant in the setup for this play. Rindo Kobayashi was shoved out of lane in the top side with the Grand Challenge, and Trinity and Rindo knew together that they, wanted to fight for this dragon, and so Rindo bumped up towards that top side with the TP available and allowed Rindo to walk to mid, which then basically allowed all 5 members to be there and use their team fight capability to collect that fight win and dragon. And now we got a 1.5k gold lead advantage for the Crabs Radiant, and that might even grow even more with these plates being picked up. And keep in mind, ooh, hold on, that's half health from Shahaz right there. That's a little trade there, and Shahaz is probably forced to back after this wave now. But we have to remember, right, that they used Thresh Flash, they used Zig's ultimate to try and get a chunk onto Palm Goat and Alchemist, and they were still not able to win the fight with the HP advantage that they created from that play. And now Rindo is going to have that Shiv available. We'll be working towards finishing that Cull. For the time being, we're just going to go back to a bit of a lull state probably until this next Herald spawns in about 40 seconds, and it looks as though the blue side is going to be setting up for that.
Let me ask you this. When did Ollie use the first Rift Herald?
Not again.
Do you remember? I don't remember seeing it pop. I don't know where it popped. He might have popped and I didn't see it, but right now Ollie is going to get a big damage onto Chiv. Holy crap. That's going to be almost his half health damage, going to be able to avoid a lot of that damage from the Blue Cane himself. And now an opportunity for the Crabs Raid to potentially collapse under Kobayashi. Maybe looking for a big slicing Maelstrom here. Is he going to be able to find it? He's going to get stunned. He's going to be able to get a nice stun himself, but he's going to end up going down. Nice depth charge onto Korean Daddy. He's going to be the first casualty against the Primal Instinct White Squad. Palm Goat will use the Chains Corruption to be able to take down Shahaz. So that's 2 members now down, and a big play once again for Crabs Radiant as they'll take another neutral objective.
It seems like Ollie is under some form of demonic contract to only use one of every 2 Rift Heralds that they get, because I did a quick scout before that fight and not a single tower took any damage worthy of a Shelly charge. So picked up the Herald for the 100 gold and then did not use it.
Nice.
Which honestly, so here's something that I've realized from playing is that if you have the Rift Herald and you're not able to guarantee a charge, it is not worth dropping it to just give the enemy team the golden XP from dropping it. So if you cannot get a charge, if you cannot get good value from it, just let it expire and take whatever net advantage you get from just killing it. Alchemists.
Ooh, might be forced to die here. Palmgood is also going to be taken down. That's a double for Knight Ventura. Finally landing a Mega Inferno Bomb, kind of stealing those kills away from Chiv, but hey, it's effective and it gets a double kill for your mid laner.
And that's 4 dark seal stacks as well for the Ziggs there. Knight Ventura embodying the phrase, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take in this game, but Trinity gonna be here. Shahad's throwing out the chompers a little bit late.
Oh no, they're gonna find a way to make it a 2 for 2. Trinity is saying, anything you can do, I can do better. You might have gotten 4 stacks on your Dark Steel. I'll take 8 stacks on my Magi Soul Stealer and the mid tier 1 tower.
Yeah, when did Trinity get this?
Early.
When did Trinity just casually pick up a second Magi's? I mean, I was gonna say that despite the map going, maybe not the best for the side of the Crabs Radiant, Trinity has been such a solid performer in this game, as well as in the first game, that to see them pick up a Magi's actually makes me feel a little bit happy, just because I know that they're gonna be able to make really good use of it, and as well as there's not too much lockdown for this Ahri, so unless Trinity royally messes up, should be fairly safe to keep it going. Ollie using that second Herald, getting us charge onto the mid tier 2 as well will be very nice. We have Ocean Soul this game, so me pivoting was bad.
Yeah, I'd take the Ocean Soul 100%. First Ocean Soul of the AML. And that means I once again take the lead. Is now 4-3 in Dragon Soul predictions. If we get to a game 3, you have an opportunity for you to even it out. But right now, the Crabs Radiant is doing everything in their power to avoid that reality. They are only up by 1.5k, but they've taken all 4 neutral objectives pre 20 minutes. They are looking to be able to get all 5 neutral objectives, having the perfect neutral objective game if they are able to pick this one up.
I think you said this last game, and then they immediately lost the next dragon. But I mean, looking at the way that this top lane is going, we talked about how no one really is able to match Mickey. And if Rindo did not have this static shiv, it would be really hard for the Kennen to even exist in this lane. Mickey almost at the point where they can just completely bully the Kennen out, but actually getting a nice damage with that Q there. We will have this dragon set up though.
Yeah, that's going to be the Death Sentence not landing. Chiv trying to be able to wait for that E-proc to come back. Let's go back to Dragon here as we get to see Rindo and Mickey go up against each other. The teleports have not been started yet by either member. You cannot start it early, and if you do, you could potentially lose out on your TP as they're going to try to make it happen. Blue team is going to steal the dragon. That's going to be at least something for the side of Primal Instinct. They'll lose out on Chiv, but at least they'll stop the dragon stacking.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how you have to play that there. It's sort of one of those where you have to slow it down and like kill all the vision and make it so that it's completely blind. Knight Ventura with the bone plating, just not really able to do anything. Trinity just doing so much damage.
Oh boy, dominating. We'll take another 4 stacks on that Magi Soul Stealer and will become the highest damage dealer in this game once again.
Yeah, I mean, doing so nice, has the move speed already, had the 10 stacks a while ago, but just gets so much benefit from this Magi Soul Stealer in the game. Looks to be going for what I can only imagine will be a Horizon focus, considering I think that's what a lot of Ahris do when they go for the what's it called, the Everfrost brain. I almost called it Everwinter or Everfrost, because not Everfrost. What did I almost call? I almost called it Eternal Winter from TFT.
Yes, the upgraded version, or the upgraded version of the tank version of the Tear of the Goddess build. But we got a fight coming through. Mickey is going to be forced to flash away. Grand Challenge not available, or is available, but Flash was used. A lot of expenditure there in the bottom lane as Trinity decides to teleport there. Baron is up now as the rest of the Primal Instinct White Squad are looking to be able to go for potentially this mid-tier 1 tower. Jinx Corruption going to be immediately cleansed, but Alchemist is going to be able to land the depth charge, trying to be able to get the knockup. Big damage on the Knight Ventura, but that's going to be Palm Go going down, and Trinity's going to be able to come in once again with a big damage. Godlike on the Ari, looking to get another one. The Umbral Trespass will delay the inevitable. Trinity will survive. Rindo Kobayashi will be able to make up one. Another big dredge line from Alchemist, and Chib will fall. The ace for the Crabs Radiant at the 20-minute mark almost certainly means Baron as they continue to snowball this game.
The only thing is no one's really tanky enough on the side of the Crabs Radiant to go for this Baron so early on. I also think they're sitting on a whole lot of gold. Yeah, Trinity's sitting on 1,000, Ollie's sitting on 13. They're just going to take the time to grab these outer towers and these inner towers, and just to increase that gold lead even more, jumping up to almost 6k now in favor of the Crabs Radiant. Trinity sitting at that 25 stacks on Medjai's. We should see Rindo Kobayashi finish that proto belt on this base here. We see this the Manamune stacking on Palmgo. It is just looking so good for this blue side. We did see, however, that Chiv was able to find a whole lot of value looking for those flanks, was able to take out Palmgo, who honestly did their exact job. They were able to force the cleanse out of Shahaz. They were able to start a fight in an awkward situation that that Primal Instinct just was not able to deal with. And now we're gonna settle in. We're gonna settle in for a little bit, just because I don't think the Crabs Radiant will just start Baron straight up. Because they don't really have that. They don't really have damage like that. They don't have too much of a tank shredding opportunity. Braves does a lot of damage, but not the same. So probably look for them to fight in about a 90 seconds time around this dragon, because Ocean Drag is definitely a win con for them, because it allows them to tank Baron forever. It allows them just to survive these fights a slight bit better. And I really hope that Trinity actually will opt for a earlier Zonias than what it looks like they're going for, because that looks to be a death cap coming out next. But either way, I think this Ari is hits such a good spot. Knight Ventura is right to sit back and not even think about that wave. And we'll see, because I think the only way that Primal Instinct is really going to be able to keep playing this game is if Mickey is able to create enough of a problem in the side lane to pull people away to help the cannon.
Yeah, I mean, all that movement's being on Trinity as well. Recognizing that they could potentially be in trouble, will walk away, not able to get that control word down. But at the moment, as you were talking about, Septi, it's really all about the Crabs Radiant just looking to be able to deny any sort of river control, that line of control wards at Baron and Dragon, not allowing Primal Instinct to move an inch forward. Yes, we got to see a little bit of aggression from Mickey on the top side of the rift, and that's going to be the little bit of vision that they have going into this dragon fight. But for the time being, it is still just so favored for the Crabs Radiant, with just all the damage that Trinity is able to provide. Does not have that stopwatch, as you were alluding to. So if they are able to get picked off, it could be a big win for Primal Instinct if they're able to make it happen.
Yeah, and we've already started the dragon now. I would have liked to have seen the Crabs Radiant maybe push a little bit more to get control in the jungle, but it looks like they just might go for another flip. Chiv is just far too fast for anyone to deal with.
Let's see if they're going to be able to do it, though. Chib is going to go into the base. The Umbral Trespass is going to be there. The pit is now coming through. Can Chib get out? Will be able to use the Dark Passage to come through. Not able to land the charm. There's a Death Sentence in onto Trinity, and the Dragon's going to get taken. Trinity's going to go down. Trinity is dead, and it's going to be Knight Ventura getting a little bit of revenge against their lane opponent, getting all of those stacks taken off as well. Big damage to Omega Inferno Bomb once again as Rindo Kobayashi will come through, getting the stun onto Mickey. The big result out of that one. Yes, you give the dragon over to the side of... Oh, hold on, this fight is not over. Rindo Kobayashi going to be able to take down Korean, makes it a 1-for-1 as Shahad will take down the cannon. So it's still a good play for the side of Primal Instinct as they get the shutdown onto Trinity, take 10 stacks off of that Magi Soul Stealer.
Yeah, Trinity just got a little bit excited there and a little bit anxious getting hit by that hook. Was not remembering that Thresh will probably just throw the flay right after the hook CC ends. So just didn't hold off on that last charge of Spirit Rush and was ultimately caught out for it. But I mean, not too pressed. They were able to pick up their third dragon. They were able to, you know, extend the lead just a little bit. The gold lead actually down to about 3k now after that, with 1,000 gold going on to the Ziggs, as well as a bounty rather going on to the whole team there from that mid tower. So I mean, looking pretty good. I keep saying this. I think we saw it last week too. I don't like this build from Knife Ventura. I dislike going Leandries into Shadow Flame. Because by going Leandries, you've already, you know, decided that you're not going to be able to burst someone out. So why would you go for an item, a second item that focuses on, you know, like shredding someone for base values? It just doesn't make sense to me. I would have rather have seen maybe a Death Cap second or a Void Staff if you wanted something with penetration. But either way, they're the player in this game, not me. Ollie gonna potentially find Chip Flash, gonna go a little bit wide from Alchemist there. Not really able to find too much. But we might see a potential Baron here. It seems as though Crab's Radiant might get a little bit impatient here, not really want to play for this soul. But if they do decide to play for this dragon, I would like them to set it up maybe a little bit better than they did the last time. The last 2 times that they fought this dragon, they haven't really had control outside of the pit. So they've been forced to sort of cede control of the back of Dragon Pit. So for this next one, if they're able to, you know, set up vision, if they're able to sit in the jungle there, they have a much better opportunity, as well as a much better area for them to fight. You know, with the Ahri, with the Varus, with the Kennen, should they decide to do so there. Chiv just being annoying here.
Yeah, trying to be able to find some sort of action. Right now, it just feels like Palm Goat looking to be able to get whatever poke damage they can on to Shahaz, onto the back line. And as you were alluding to in Draft Septi, it's Mickey313 that's able to find the potential for these turrets. Another inner tower, or an inner tower, going to go down in the bottom lane. Rindo Kobayashi not really able to respond to the Fiora pressure, as now Alchemist is going to find Chib in the jungle. Not going to be any sort of response of a dredge line or anything like that, but you are seeing the seeds potentially of a Primal Instinct comeback. They're able to get that damage in on the side lanes, and there's not really a response that the Crab's Radiant has to be able to deny that.
Yeah, I mean, we see the bounties still on the table. I mean, it just will allow Primal Instinct just that much more opportunity to come back into the game. And Rindo is, I mean, we're seeing it, right? They can't really clear the waves against Mickey. Mickey has that Hydra. Mickey has just all that extra damage. And I'm curious to see if Mickey will double down and go for something like a Hull Breaker, but instead it looks as though they're going to go for the fairly smart pickup in this game. It will be that Maw of Malmortius there to combat both the Ahri as well as the Kennen damage. And Palm Goat is starting to hurt a little bit on this Varus. Trinity a little bit caught out here potentially. I don't think Chiv realizes how much damage they actually do to this Ahri. Actually, I think I'm the one that doesn't realize how much Chiv does to that Ahri, as Mickey will flash.
Rindo gonna be taking a lot of damage, gonna be able to get out of it with the flash, gonna be able to get the stun. Mickey goes down. Rindo survives, baiting out the Fiora, as the Baron is now gonna get started by the Primal Instinct squad. Are they going to be able to do it? They cannot. Chib is not Rost and will take half of his HP. Baron is untaken here, and now an opportunity for the Crab's Radiant to respond. Rindo Kobayashi going to teleport in a 5v4 play for the next 25 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, they have Knife Ventura to potentially start throwing a whole bunch of bombs at the side of the Crab's Radiant. We talked about it before. Alchemist, yes, can tank this for now, but that means that they're not going to be in a position to turn.
Mega Inferno Bomb not going to land on anyone. Jahaz is going to be at 1 HP, already using the Super Mega Death Rocket. Korean Daddy is low. Korean Daddy is going to go down. Overall Trespass is going to be used. Rindo Kobayashi goes golden to survive once again at 1 HP. And the 5-0 ace in favor of the Crab's Radiant is going to give them Baron, going to give them Ocean Soul, and it's going to close probably what few doors are remaining for Primal Instinct to come back into this one.
Yeah, this Baron is not happening. I don't think, at least. Palm Goat not really going to be healthy enough to do this Baron. Alchemist might be able to tank it. Trinity gonna also do the damage. Ali is looking at the Dragon. I'm going to check on that. We'll go down fairly safely. We'll be able to actually pick up both, so I take back what I was saying. By the way, I have to give credit to that fight to Trinity. And Alchemist as well for finding a nice hook, but Trinity being able to output so much damage in that fight, caught the Ziggs out, was able to then follow the Jinx and catch her as well. Just doing so much damage on this Ahri. Has had map pressure the entire game, has had wave pressure, has had fight pressure, has just been, you know, absolutely running the show on this Ahri pick. So you can ban their Syndra, doesn't matter. They have the Ahri. And if you give them a lane like Ziggs, a lane that they don't really feel pressured in, they can scale, they can be a huge menace. As Rindo, I don't think you want this.
Yeah, might just die here. Slicing Maelstrom will be used, but Umbral Trespass is going to get initiated. Doesn't actually go down to the Umbral Trespass, and Rindo Kobayashi survives. That is not good. When you're Blue Cane, you cannot execute anybody. That is going to mean that the rest of Crab's Radiant can just do whatever they want. They're going to take the mid tier 3 tower. They're going to take down Korean Daddy, and Trinity is going to Spirit Rush in, trying to take down Shahaz. Does not land the charm, but the Dredge line does land on the Knight Ventura, who's going to die immediately. That is going to be Trinity going golden. That is going to be Palm Goat taking another. That's going to be another Dredge line landing, obliterating Shahaz. And with this Baron, with this Ocean Soul, with the 9,000 gold lead, it is going to be a big win here for the Crabs Radiant. Looking to finish the job, looking to remain undefeated in the AML, looking to be the top dog in the Ionia division. Chip trying to do what they can. They will go down. There is no stopping this team as they win the game with flying colors. What a dominating performance.
Man, I was going to make a joke. I was going to tell Shahaz to get their backpack because Alchemist is coming with the school bus, but I mean, they just looked amazing come the end of that game. The Crabs Radiant just doing such a nice job. Trinity looked to be caught out there potentially at the end, but had that stopwatch that I asked them to buy 20 minutes ago. They had it at the key moment to actually keep themselves alive in that game. Palm Goat as well doing a whole lot of damage. You could see the coordination as well at the end of that game, right? We saw the hook land onto Shahaz as well as the blighted arrow come in from Palm Goat, just to use that much damage. Again, Ali having a good game. Rindo got caught out at the end, but it didn't matter. That's sort of one of the things you have to accept if you're playing the split push, where if you get gone on with numbers, that's just how it is. Like the team will get an advantage on the other side, or at least you hope so. But in a situation where you're able to live as well, it's just even that much better. Rindo doing a very nice job surviving on the side, as well as playing this Kennen into a matchup that we saw potentially slip away from them, or starting to slip away from them now that as Mickey had been putting pressure on those side lane towers. But honestly, Crab Radiant 6-0, looking good, looking pretty good at the end of week 3.
Yeah, I mean, they are definitely showing us their power. They are definitely some of the top dogs in the AML, taking another series win against an opponent that on paper was also really dominant in Ionia, just unable to find that opportunity to get ahead in this game. Once again, you just got to shout out the entirety of the Crabs Radiant squad for having that communication, for having the awareness, and for having the tenacity to stay focused in the early game and get those big advantages moving forward. My MVP of this game, I mean, I think they all played very well, but I think the MVP of this game has to go to Trinity on this RE2. Phenomenal games, dealing the most damage in both, and at the end of game 2, a 25 stack Magi Soul Stealer. You can't go wrong with that score line. Really nicely done from the Crabs Radiant squad. We're going to take a quick break really quick so that we can get ourselves an interview before we end the stream. We'll be right back, folks.
Walking on the moon. Walking on the moon. One moment to escape. You're walking on the moon. Walking on the moon. Never been. All our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some levels that I've never been. All our trouble seems to fade away.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Aegis Marauders League. Our Week 3 matchup has concluded with the Crabs Radiant coming in with a dominant 2-0 victory against Primal Instinct. We've got the jungler that started it all, playing Graves in both games, being such a pest in the jungle. It's Ollie coming in. Ollie,
Yo.
congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, we got to talk about this, Graves, man. You came in game 1 and game 2 looking to steal the jungle camps, looking to be a pest. Is that just, the I guess overwhelming number of Graves games that you had, the experience? Is that just all coming in, or is it just you're just so confident in your ability to make those plays happen?
Well, he is a Graves main, so I kind of thought he would like ward. You're supposed to ward like next to pixel brush, like more like a middle of the river, because it like prevents the Graves level 2 invade, right? Because then he sees me. But I like would not ward and then get sweeper, so he never warded it. So I would either get his blue side, and like first game I split the map, which is like good for us. Obviously, like him playing for a top side Malphite is like obviously not going to be good for their game. If I'm playing for bot lane only, and we're getting an early lead, and like Kaisa got 4 kills, whatever, we took over the game there. But like by splitting the map early like that, it's really good. And the champions he picked don't necessarily win 1v1 in the Graves. Like the Kayn pick, in my opinion, was like not the greatest, because I mean, you would not be able to like protect your jungle camps early, and then losing early with that team comp is not going to be very good. And obviously the bot lead again, Trinity doing really well with the picks. But yeah, I mean, it was basically like you're safe to do that in Graves a lot, as long as you know that you can't lose your 1v1, because at bare minimum I'm getting a kill, I'm getting a summer spell, I'm getting a camp. So yeah.
And speaking of Trinity, Ollie, I gotta ask, what's the mid jungle synergy looking like with you and Trinity? Because it looked really good in those games. Is it more of like you guys are constantly communicating? Is it just natural movement towards and around each other, or how does that go in game?
Yeah, there's a lot of shot calling. Like normally a lot of the time I'm shot calling for specific plays. Like I think one of the closer to the end game plays there, like it was a mid lane play and our bot lane just died mid in like a bad fight, but the Jinx overstayed, and I was Trinity's like, I'm gonna go top way. I'm like, I'm calling for mid. Like I think when we have a pick like Ahri and they're just leaving it open all game and like every single game and they're not banning it, like Ahri's so strong right now for pick potential. It works really well with these like high tempo, high damage junglers. So we just get a lot of free kills with just taking advantage of them overextending and stuff, and it ends up being pretty good. But yeah, it was obviously a lot of charms were hit that game, and I mean, it ended up winning us the game.
Nice, absolutely. And this is sort of a side question. This is not really a main one. In game 1, did you sweep the ward when you invaded the blue, or did you just?
I knew it could have been warded, but it didn't really matter because I was dragging them blue in a way that he would have to like flash the wall and smite it if he wanted to get it. And like if I saw him, I was gonna smite it, but I knew that he wasn't gonna like level 2 walk bot. I knew he probably was gonna see me on blue, and like we like Trinity was calling Ziggs could be walking, but I was positioning myself in a way that like I could just jump the wall if they all invaded and we don't lose anything and they lose mid pro and stuff. So I mean, I kind of expected him to either try to level 2 get to the blue, because I knew it could be warded, because bot lane obviously normally wards blue there. Like I would tell my bot lane to ward blue there, but I was trying to split the map, so I was trying to force him to go to my blue, and if that was the case, then it would have been really good for us, and that's exactly what happened. So yeah.
I will say the river crust was warded from that dragon pit, so you were spotted, and it was a conscious choice.
I know the second I didn't buy sweeper instant on that game, because I knew that if he was down there, like he dies, and if he tries to go top side, he takes my blue side. But the second game I took sweeper because Kayn would just die no matter what there, and I didn't get the grab on that one. I probably should have on the second game, but I mean it ended up being fine anyway because I got the blue after. But yeah.
Fair. Well, my second question actually is, going into game 2. Just looking at the composition, sort of what was the expectation going in? When you look across the aisle, you see more of a solo queue style comp. Was there what was your gameplay going into this game? Well, like you as a team, rather.
As a team, we were like, I think we're just playing like traditional league where like I try to get like a lead if I can jungle. I'm just making sure like Kayn isn't a lethal ganker. So our team, like as long as we're making sure we're like shoving waves on dragon timers, then like it would just automatically have dragon pride. Like, and then there's one dragon he stole, and he was very close to my angle, like 3,000 HP. But we were pretty much just playing like, I think our comp was more of a like pro draft. Their comp was more solo queue, because like I don't think I ever see like a Kayn pick or anything, but or like their comp was like weird because they wanted to front the back with Jinx early, and then they picked like Kane Assassin and like these weird champions like Fiora split push. So like once they couldn't win 5v5, like we like to draft a comp where at bare minimum we can 5v5, because if shit goes wrong on the side lanes, we still have that, like, you know, we can try to team fight together, right? If anything goes wrong. So I guess that's what we try to base our comps off of.
I like it. I like it. And, you know, last question for you, talking about, you know, the AML league in general and looking at your guys' performance. You know, with this win, you remain undefeated in the Iona division, 6-0 game-wise, 3-0 series-wise. The only other remaining undefeated team, Dorado Gaming, that you play in week 5. But looking at, you know, the group draw, the stage and all that fun stuff, you know, you were put down really low in the standings, you know, tier 3 middling team, and you guys are outperforming, you know, the on paper expectations of that squad. What do you think, you know, is the secret that you guys are bringing, or not the secret, but what's the, you know, the mentality going into these games that's giving you this, I guess, edge performing so well?
I mean, I'm pretty confident that I'm better than like most of the players in this league, because like I haven't really seen any of the names, to be honest, in solo queue matches, and if I have, like, normally I'm beating them out, but like this season's been pretty rough. Early season always going to be like 50-50 coin flip, but like last season I didn't really see most of these players, like some of them on my Smurf maybe, but I do think that the standings are based off of rank points, but my like Trinity and Palm and stuff like our whole team like are so much, like, I think Rindo is like sitting like almost, he would be like plat if you were based off last season. He's not a plat player. Like the ranks are kind of ridiculous this season, but I think we have like the players on our team, if they were like legitimately be ranked by skill, like they're a lot higher than they would be. You know what I mean? Like they just don't like solo queue, right? Like I'm probably the only person in the team who likes like or like actually plays solo queue. I don't really like it that much, but yeah, like that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I haven't really seen most of these players, so I guess it is what it is.
Fair enough. Hey, you know, I appreciate the honesty there. And, you know, as we move into week 4, you guys are still performing very well. Best of luck for the remainder of the season. Any shout outs that you want to give before we let you go?
Hey, I always gotta shout out my boy Dead Body. You know him. He's pretty crazy. I played with him last. I saw some of his games in CCS, obviously, and you know, my boy got a penta. My boy Dead Body. You always gotta shout him out. He's pretty crazy. So yeah.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. Well, Ollie, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to chat with us really quick. We appreciate you coming in, and best of luck for the remainder of the season. I'm sure that we'll be seeing you guys later on here, either in the qualifiers or in the playoffs. So best of luck to you guys, and continued success.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you very much. And with that being said, we are done for the AML week 3. Next week is going to be the halfway point for the regular season. So stay tuned as the team stacks are going to start to really start to shape up. We're going to start to see who's the top tier teams, who's the mid-tier teams, and who honestly doesn't have a shot. We're going to find out probably around week 4, week 5. But there's plenty of other Aegis content that is coming through moving forward for this week. Septi, what do we got?
Oh, we got a whole bunch of stuff. On Thursdays, like always, we have the Aegis Premier League, the Plat Diamond Division, or I believe the Plat Emerald Diamond Division, I think at this point, probably. And then on Friday, we have the Aegis Champions League, which is, I believe, our Masters Grandmasters League, or not Masters Grandmasters, Grandmasters Challenger, as well as our AGL. So stick around. We got a whole bunch of content for you guys. We once again appreciate how much you guys do to support us at the AML, and just Aegis esports in general. We'd like to thank Coachify again for this evening. Moose, PVS, thank you so much for a wonderful broadcast this evening. And with that, I think we're going to send you all on your way, and we hope you guys have a great night.
Yep, take care.